and welcome to Pink Paradox Reads. I'm Lisa, aka Pink Paradox, and I read books, I watch horror movies, and I unbox stuff that has to do with books and horror movies. In this video, I'll show you what came in the March and the April editions of the Abominable Book Club box. Let's get into it. If you are unfamiliar with the Abominable Book Club, I can tell you that it is a monthly subscription service for lovers of horror fiction. They are based in the UK and they ship worldwide. There will be a link in the video description to their website where you can check them out for yourself. Now, I've had a lot of trouble with international mail lately, which is why I got the March and the April editions of the box at the same time. Let's do this right and start off with the April one. All right, March. So in every box from the Abominable Book Club, we get a new release horror book, and I am excited to say that in this box we have two books. The first one being Deity. This is a hard word for Norwegians. Deity by Matt Veselovsky, and this is signed. This is what it looks like. Off the bat, it looks sort of folklore-y, but this is part of a series, apparently, an episode of 6 stories, it says. Let me have a look at the spoiler card and see what it says. The 5th and latest addition to the 6 stories is here, and core blimey, it is a good one. We included Veselovsky's Beast last year, and it went down a treat with our Abominations, and we think you'll love this one too. Don't worry, each of these books stand alone, so you don't have to catch up on 4 other books before jumping into this. In it, investigative journalist Scott King investigates the death of a pop megastar accused of heinous crimes and uncovers some dark secrets along the way. So, not folklore in any way. Apparently, 6 Stories is a podcast, which this journalist runs. It looks very interesting. I do like the fact that it's a standalone, so that I don't have to read the other 4 books before I read this one. Then we have another book, which I am super excited about because a lot of my friends from book club have read this book and they have been raving about it. I have been seeing it a lot on Bookstagram and on Book YouTube. This is Dear Laura by Gemma Amer, and this is also signed. Bram Stoker Award-nominated author Gemma Amer, whose work you might recognize from our previous featured books, We Are Wolves. That was the book from the February box. Weaves a tale of trauma, stalking, and deeply unsettling secrets in this devastating novella. Amer's beautiful prose is on full display here alongside her emotional eloquence, showcasing how easily she can break both hearts and fingers with a simple stroke of the pen. Very, very excited to read this. Along with our books in the Abominable Book Club boxes, we also get some hot drinks and treats. And this time it is Welsh cakes, and I've never had Welsh cakes before, so it'll be interesting to try. Let's take a look at what the drinks are. We have tea, chamomile, and green tea with mango. We've got a Nescafe cappuccino, a Galaxy hot chocolate, and a Lions Go Joe. This is a coffee bag, like a tea bag, but for coffee. Also always included are bookmarks. This one has the logo of the Abominable Book Club on it, and then flash fiction on the back. And this one says, Visit Popolac, Community Togetherness, Walk and Sing with Us, 1984 City of the Year. And this sounds vaguely familiar to me. The Visit Popolac premium bookmark is based on In the Hills in the Cities by Clive Barker. That's pretty cool. There is also a magnet, and I think this one might actually go on my little book cart, which I have beside me. This guy, a villain called Hardback, he'll crack your spine. Then we have perhaps my favorite part of every box from the Abominable Book Club. It is the mystery book from the Accursed Library. Accursed Library. This is a secondhand book which has been randomly inserted into my box. Let's find out what it is. And my book is The Skull by Sean Hudson, author of Erebus. It says that this edition is from 1999, but I don't know. It looks like it could be an older book, just a newer edition. I've never heard of this author before, so that'll be interesting. It had been waiting for centuries, buried in a place they called the Evil Ground, waiting for just one drop of blood to restore it to life. But when Nick Regan discovered the skull on a construction site, he and his archaeologist wife Chrissy were more puzzled than alarmed. It was too large to be human, but looked like no animal skull they had ever seen. Their curiosity soon turned to fear when the bones grew a thin covering of gray flesh, and then to frantic terror when they discovered that it had come alive. That sounds like a classic horror tale. Yeah. Oh, we're just getting started. It just keeps getting better. There are 2 books in this box as well. And the main one is The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward. This is a beautiful hardcover copy with a signed book plate. Oh man, I have actually just read this book and it was amazing. It was one of those books that they just like mentally stabbed me. Like I was left feeling so many feelings after having read this book. At first, I didn't think that I would like it because I was listening to it on audio and the narrator just did not gel with me. I switched to a Kindle edition and I found that much better. But yeah, I will come back with a proper review of this book, but I am still thinking about it. I am. This book is fantastic. It's not for everyone. It is not a classic sort of horror novel by any means. It's not a classic thriller book by any means, but I just think it's fantastic. And I'm really, really happy to own a hardcover copy, a signed one at that. This is probably Olivia the cat on the book plate there. Oh, so happy with this. Actually, I should read what the card says and not just, go on about the book myself. This brand new hardback release has been making waves during its entire pre-launch due to the stellar writing and breathtaking story, and we're so glad to say it lives up to the hype. We can't express how happy we are to include this fantastic book in the box, and we hope you all enjoy it as much as we did. It follows the story of Ted, a lonely recluse who lives in a boarded-up house with his daughter and a cat named Olivia. But all is not what it seems in this mind-melting, dark, and horrifying story. Then, second book again, and I'm so excited about this one as well. It is Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Bastacarica. I probably said that wrong. And this is another one of those books that has been making the rounds on Goodreads, on Instagram, and a lot of my friends have read this and said that it's fantastic. It's controversial, I guess you could say. Due to Black Static moving to a more infrequent schedule, we were left with a gap in our regular programming. Thankfully, we read this amazing book at the start of the year and we were blown away. So we knew we had to plug the gap with this brutal and stomach-churning story of cannibalism and the darkest aspects of human nature. Don't read this one with a plate full of bacon in front of you. I'll try not to. Snack time, and it's chocolate this time from Wickedly Welsh Chocolate. This is a hot cross bun in milk chocolate form. My cross has been crossed out, but I'm guessing it's going to taste lovely no matter what. And we have our drinks as well. We have our Lion's coffee bag, cappuccino, chamomile tea, lemon and ginger tea, and I love this brand. It's Horlicks, which I have not had in I can't remember the last time. Probably the last time I went to the UK, which is many years ago now. I love Horlicks. Then there is a cute little pin this time, and it says Future Ghost. Look at him, he's green. He's not a fully grown ghost yet. On the card it says there's a 1 in 10 chance that this glows in the dark. And the bookmarks, the flash fiction is extra long this time. And we have a very beautiful bookmark featuring Franz Kafka, starting to sprout some antlers there. I think we ought to read only the kind of books that wound and stab us, is the quote on the back. Speaking of, The Last House on Needless Street. There is also an excerpt from Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka on the back. Franz Kafka was one of those authors that I read when I was a teenager, and I thought I understood more than I did, probably, but I still really liked his books, especially Metamorphosis. I've also seen a theater production of Metamorphosis here in Badigan, which was disturbing and really good. And then we have reached that time again. It is the mystery book. I'm singing a lot in this video. I do apologize. Like what they did with the stamp here. What are the odds? It's another Sean Hudson. This is called Renegades. It's got a very interesting cover. The stained glass window there with a guy who doesn't seem to be up to any good. Immortality, the ultimate secret. David and Laura Callahan. I'm just gonna check. Those are not the, nope, that's not the same couple from the first book. Like others before them throughout the ages, will stop at nothing in their perverted quest for it. Ooh. But for Callahan, a multimillionaire gunrunner, eternal life has never looked less likely. He is being hunted both by a renegade group of hired killers and by 2 British counter-terrorists, and nobody knows who hired the killers or why. In a race against time, a trail of violence and terror leads from a desecrated church in France to London and on to strife-torn Ireland, where modern terrorism battles against ancient powers and a terrible secret is revealed. A long-forgotten secret that will threaten the lives and souls of those involved. And when the final confrontation comes, the living will envy the dead. Time Out calls it The Long Good Friday meets Night of the Demon, moves at a slam-bang pace. The Times says Renegades mixes the IRA, counterterrorism, and Gilles de Rais into a lethal cocktail of gun-worshipping ultraviolence. The prose rips along at a lightning pace, while the Sunday Times claims the one that writes what others only dare imagine. Sounds interesting. Not completely sure if this is my taste, but I'll give it a go. Alrighty, that was everything that was in the March and April edition of the Abominable Book Club box. I now have paper and packing materials everywhere. It's gonna be something to clean up. But yes, I was very happy with the contents this time. Very cool bookmarks. Exceptionally cool books. I would love to hear your opinion on the boxes. If you have read any of the books, I would love to hear about it. Have you ever read any Sean Hudson? What's he like? Have you read The Last House on Needless Street? What did you think? Did it stab you in the heart as well? that's it for this video. If you enjoy unboxings like this one, bookish videos, and horror movie talk, please stick around and subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.